What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I am going to be answering a bunch of questions that you guys asked me on my channel update from last week. I think there's about 16 or 17 questions here, and some of them are double questions or even triple questions, so probably more than 20 questions here for you guys, and yeah, we're just going to jump straight into it. So the first question we have comes from the Ghost Child, who says, what is your favourite video on your channel and which are you most proud of? My favourite video is probably actually my most viewed video, which is the how to saber battle in Battlefront 2. That was one of those videos that I kind of just pushed out really quick after an update, and I'm actually surprised that I managed to get the footage as soon as I did. So it was kind of just one of those things where it just all happened perfectly, and then all of a sudden it had, you know, 100,000 to 200,000 views within the first few weeks. So that's probably my favourite video. As for which you're most proud of, probably my year 2 review for Battlefront 2, where I pretty much just went through like every single thing that we got in year 2. And it was just a really detailed, really sort of highly edited video. So that's definitely the one that I'm most proud of overall. The next question we have comes from Nick, who says, what subject are you studying and what is your dream job? So what I'm studying is pretty much a mix of like web design, app design, game design, and even a little bit of graphic design as well. The unit that I'm studying right now is actually called animation and motion graphic design. So it's essentially learning how to animate stuff in After Effects and stuff like that, which is actually really handy for the channel. And funnily enough, the first assignment, which is due in a few weeks, is I need to make a fake intro for a fake YouTube channel. And little do they know that I actually have a YouTube channel, obviously. So I'm just going to be making an intro for the second channel and just hand that in as an assignment, so it actually works pretty well. As for my dream job, honestly I would say that being a YouTuber is my dream job, and I'm lucky enough to say that I do have that as a job for now anyway. It's obviously a very sort of non-secure job, but yeah, that's at least for right now, that's my dream job. It's what I love to do, and I can't really see myself doing anything else in the future, so that is definitely what I would say is my dream job. The next question comes from Alfonso, who says, do you like the state in which DICE left Battlefront 2? And then he says, would you like a Clone Wars only Battlefront game with the art style from the TV show? For the first part of that question, it's kind of like I'm sort of on the fence with that. In one way, it was like a kind of immediate ending, and there was still a pretty big player base and all that kind of thing, and obviously it's still fairly buggy and stuff like that. So in that way, I'm not too happy with how they left it, but on the other hand, the turnaround that it had over the last probably 18 months, even more, has just been, honestly, I've never seen a game turn around like that. So I wish that they would have fixed it up a little bit more. There's still a lot of bugs, and there's a lot of bugs, for example, like Aussie servers are just pretty much like cooked at the moment, where you'll play around and it's fine, and then when it match makes you'll just lag the next round even though it's still Aussie servers. So stuff like that is kind of like ruining the game at the moment, but it could be a lot worse. Like it could have ended years ago and we wouldn't have all the content that we do. So kind of on the fence with that one, but yeah, I would lean towards I'm probably not too happy with how they've left it. As for the second part of the question, would you like a Clone Wars only Battlefront game with the art style from the TV show? I definitely would be very keen on that. It's probably not up on my priority list to get another sort of single era Battlefront game. I think if they're going to do another one, it should be all eras again, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't be opposed to that, and I think it would be pretty cool. I know a lot of people don't like the cartoony styles, but I'm a big fan of Borderlands, for example, and yeah, a cartoony style in a shooter can work really well. So I definitely would be very keen on that if they were to do it. The next question comes from Jake, who says, hi Sammy, my question for you is, what hero in Battlefront 2 is the most balanced and well designed? Now, this is a pretty tough question because, to be honest, a lot of the heroes have had bugs and, you know, imbalances throughout the game, but my answer is going to be a little bit different than what most people would probably say, and I'm actually going to say Bosk. I think he's the most overall balanced in terms of from launch, and I think he's one of the more well-designed heroes as well. He's pretty much been, for the most part, bug-free since launch, and he's pretty much been the same balance the whole time through. He's obviously a lot less balanced now in terms of like he's not as good, but mostly that's just to do with them changing his jump, and his abilities and all that are still really decent, and you can still do really well with him. And the part that I think is the best about Bosk is that he's pretty easy to use for anyone. Like if you've just picked up the game, he's a really easy character to use, but he is still pretty hard to master, and I think that's a good sort of balance to have for most heroes, where
anyone can pick them up and do pretty well with them, but if you want to do really, really well, then you have to put in the hours and practice with them a lot. So yeah, I would definitely say Bosk, at least for me, would be the most well balanced. Now, the next question comes from my boy Fighter Isaiah, who says, favourite and least favourite memories of Battlefront 2? Well, that is both a very hard and very easy answer. For least favourite, it is absolutely Anakin's launch and the probably 5 to 6, if not more, months afterwards. He was just an absolute mess and honestly broke the game, and I think the game is still catching up to his launch. It was just so many imbalances with him, which then they kind of buffed a lot of other characters to fix it, and then yeah, it really threw off the game. Honestly, I think since that, the game has almost been, I don't want to say going downhill, but that was just a big fail on DICE's part in terms of the balancing. As for my favourite memories though, probably it's between two things. One would be pretty much the Clone Wars launching, other than Anakin, pretty much from Grievous through to Dooku. Those couple of months there, I think it was about 4 months, was probably the most hyped that the community had been and the most positive that it had been. And then as for the next one, it would probably be, well, not probably, it's definitely the Battlefront 2 World Cup. That's probably the thing that I'm most proud of in my whole time on YouTube, honestly, even more proud than just the whole channel growth in general. The fact that we sort of brought the community together and raised over $2,000 for charity and had a successful tournament like that with an awesome ending. Yeah, that's probably one of my favourite memories, and I'll definitely look back on that in years and still think that was pretty cool that we did that. The next question comes from Reed, who says, if there is a Battlefront 3 game, would you like to have content from the Old Republic era as well as the regular 3 eras? I have actually thought about this quite a bit, and I've got a video coming up probably within the next, next couple of months about sort of a Legends addition to Battlefront, and that is something that I would absolutely love to see, and I would do anything. I would pay any amount of money to get a Battlefront game with both canon and Legends in it. Just the amount of content that they could make. They could honestly make a 10-year long game of essentially what Battlefront 2 was, but putting out content from all eras, all, canon and Legends. So yeah, I do have a video coming on that, which I will be sort of, I guess, like a little concept for that. But yeah, that is definitely something that I would love to see if they did do a Battlefront 3. Now, the next question comes from the Kid Who Games, and he starts off by saying, for the future, could you do updated infantry guides and hero rankings, reinforcement rankings, and skin rankings? Now, I will definitely be updating all of my guides, heroes, reinforcements, and infantry. As for the rankings, I haven't really I haven't done that many rankings in the past, just because essentially every other channel does them about 45 times per month. So they're kind of just sort of washed out for me. But now that the game is done, it kind of does make sense for me to do like my final rankings for the game. So I probably will do hero rankings at some point. And probably reinforcements as well, but as for skins, I'm not too sure about that. Now, as for the question, out of the new added heroes, Grievous, Dooku, Phasma, Obi-Wan, Finn, and Anakin, which is your favourite and which were you most excited for? My favourite of all of them is probably Dooku, or maybe even Finn, to be honest. I really like Finn now that he's kind of had a bit of a buff, but I definitely would say Dooku would be my favourite. As for which I was most excited for, I'd probably say Grievous, just because he was the first one, and obviously being, a lot more unique than the rest, I was definitely very interested to see how he goes. So yeah, Dooku is definitely my favourite, and Grievous is the one that I was most excited for. The next question comes from King, who says, what are your thoughts on Star Wars Squadrons? Now, even though you guys will be watching this after we've had both the trailer and probably EA Play, which will, I assume, have a bit more news, as I'm recording this, it is literally about 24 hours until the reveal trailer. So as of right now, I really don't know too much, but what I will say is I am absolutely stoked that we're getting another Star Wars multiplayer game. Obviously, we don't know too much just yet, but having a vehicle-centric game is something that I generally wouldn't be that excited about. I'm more of a trooper sort of, first-person shooter or third-person shooter type of player, but the fact that it's Star Wars and the fact that it could be very similar to like Starfighter Assault from Battlefront, that has got me very, very excited. So, like I said, as of right now, even though you guys will know a lot, and we'll all know a lot by the time you're watching this, as of right now, don't know too much, but I'm definitely very, very excited to see how it pans out. The next question comes from Marky19, who says, what is your favourite infantry, reinforcement, and hero/villain?
My favourite infantry is definitely the assault class. It just suits my playstyle the best, and it has probably some of the best weapons in the game. Favourite reinforcement is 100% the BX Commando. I've absolutely loved them since they launched, and honestly I wasn't the biggest fan of reinforcements before that, but any chance I get to get a BX, unless I've obviously got a hero, I'm definitely going to be using the BX. And as for hero slash villain, favourite villain is easily Boba, and then favourite hero is, I'd probably say Rey. Rey is the character that I've sort of mained on the light side throughout. So yeah, between her and Luke, but I'll definitely go for Rey on the light side. The next question, or it's actually 3 questions, comes from my boy Charm, who says, if you could have one power of any video game character, who would it be? What's your favourite weapon you've ever used in a game? And longest time you've spent continuously playing a video game, and which game was it? Now for the first question, that is honestly so hard, and I've been sitting here for about 5 minutes just sort of thinking about all the games I've played and which ones, which powers I would like to have, and then it instantly came to me. Definitely any of the powers or shouts from Skyrim. Can't really choose one, but if I had to, I'd probably say the whirlwind sprint from Skyrim, where you can pretty much just like run really fast essentially. So kind of a boring answer, but Skyrim's my favourite game, so I had to pick one from that. As for what's my favourite weapon I've ever used in the game, I don't know if I can pick one, so I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna pick 3. And they are all snipers, surprisingly enough. The Intervention from Modern Warfare 2, that is probably one of the most memorable snipers in video game history, to be honest. The L96 from Black Ops 1, just because it wasn't even that good, to be honest, because you couldn't snipe that well in that game, but it was probably the weapon that I've used the most in any video game ever. And then the third one is the Martini Henry, which I reckon you had a feeling that was going to be my answer. Yeah, that Martini Henry is easily one of my favourites and one of the best sounding weapons that I've ever had. So yeah, those 3 are probably my answer for that one. And as for longest time you've spent continuously playing a video game, and which game was it? I would honestly actually say Battlefront 2. I don't think I've ever played a multiplayer game for as long as that, because I always played Call of Duty. If you're going to count a franchise, then I would say Call of Duty, but obviously each year there was a new COD, whereas with Battlefront it was kind of like 2.5 years of consistent playtime. So yeah, I would actually, as boring as that answer is, I'd probably say Battlefront 2, but as for a franchise in general, I would definitely say Call of Duty. The next question comes from Wakanda Forever, and he says, who are your all-time favourite Star Wars characters, top 5? Damn, that is another very, very hard question. Back-to-back hard questions there. Damn, I'm going to have to do this on the fly. So, number 1, by far, is Darth Vader. I'm a massive Darth Vader fan. He's easily number 1 for me. Number 2, I would probably say Obi-Wan. He's probably my second favourite. Third favourite, damn, I'd probably say Boba. Probably between Boba and Dooku. Boba is a bit of a character where he didn't really do that much, but he's just kind of like a cult favourite, whereas Dooku was in it a lot more, and he was a really solid character. So probably say Boba for 3 and Dooku for 4. And as for 5, I'd probably say Leia would come in at 5th. She's probably that character that I've always loved since I was a little kid. So yeah, I definitely think I would say Leia at number 5. The next question comes from Mech, who says, are you going to be continuing the top 5 play series? Now, this is a kind of hard one to answer because it's not so dependent on me, it's more dependent on you guys submitting clips. So if I can, I would love to continue that series essentially forever. It's probably one of my favourite series just because it's so community driven. But I have noticed lately that obviously a lot less people playing, and therefore a lot less clips being sent in, and the clips are just sort of not quite the quality that they used to be. So what I will be doing is at the end of this season, I'll probably take an extended break from it, maybe take like a month off and then reassess. If it's up to me, I'm definitely going to go ahead with it, but it does just come down to essentially whether there's enough good clips coming in each week to make consistent episodes. The next question comes from Tommy, who says, what hero skins, one dark and one light, do you wish came to Battlefront 2? For dark side, there's actually 2 that I can't really pick between. One for Maul and one for Palpatine. The Maul skin is his Rebels sort of shirtless skin, where he's got the robotic legs and obviously no shirt. That would be just so different because instead of having him covered in black with just a red face, he'd have like a whole red body. So probably that one, as well as the like Chancellor Palpatine skin, where it's sort of before his turn. Well, he's obviously evil already, but before he's known to be the Emperor or Darth Sidious, whatever you want to say. Probably that, yeah, the purpley red sort of regular clothes, if you can call that regular anyway. And as for the light side, without even having to think about it, it would be the Chewie skin with 3PO on the back, where he's all sort of mangled up, and he has voice lines and stuff. That would easily be the best skin in the game, and I cannot honestly believe that they didn't add that in. C-3PO was already in Battlefront 2015 just as a pretty much a menu character, so they honestly could just use a lot of those little voice lines that he had there, and yeah, that would easily be one of the best skins ever in the game, I reckon, if they did add that. The next question comes from my boy Doug, who says, favourite stream meme, also a stream highlights, greatest hits and misses would be a fun video. I'll definitely be doing that. I reckon I could do like a once a year sort of yearly stream highlights type of thing, so that is definitely something I'll look into. As for the favourite stream meme, you put me on the spot, Doug. You know I can't answer this. The ones that stand out, I don't know if I can pick a direct favourite. The ones that stand out to me is the original Corbett meme. That still lives on to this day. Keppo stands out because he's been immortalised as the bot, and I'll probably be bringing Keppo to the second channel, so he's obviously just always going to be around. The 20 pull-ups meme, that might be the funniest day of my entire life, I think. So that is definitely up there. But honestly, I can't pick one of them, and there's also about like 30 that I've missed. Yeah, I don't know how to answer it. It's such a hard question. I'd probably say the pull-up. If I had to pick one, the 20 pull-ups. That just cracks me up to this day. Sniping droids and taking droids. Now, the very last question comes from Emperor Palpamemes. This isn't the YouTuber, Emperor Palpamemes, which is the guy with the same name. He says, what is your favourite lightsaber design in all of Star Wars? Now, I'm going to give an answer here that probably not many people are going to think. My favourite is actually Cal Kestis, or I guess technically Jara Tapal, his lightsaber from Jedi Fallen Order. The one that's on the main game art with the the broken end and the textured middle with the big emitter, that is probably my favourite lightsaber design in all of Star Wars. I know that it's probably a random one. Most people are probably assuming like Dooku or some of the Legends characters, but yeah, that's probably my favourite, and honestly I really want to get a replica of that because yeah, I absolutely love that lightsaber design. But that is going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you all so much for your questions. There was some very solid questions in there. Apologies if I didn't get around to answering yours. Obviously there was a ton of questions on the video last week. But if I didn't answer your question, feel free to leave it down below, or even if you have any new questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I can't promise that I'll get to all of them. I'll probably try and reply to as many as I can in the first maybe 2 days of this video going up. So if you do have any questions, feel free to ask them down below and I will just reply to them if I can. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.